honestly, like, if you had to really think about the idea of introvert and extrovert, even if you already cared about the oversimplification to the degree you had to, like the people who like my brother who will say things like, "It was simple. You just think about the energy of somebody who is social or not, and if they don't want to bank that energy in any other direction, that's also the internet fish as well. Of like, if you would socialize, or if you had the energy to, or if it charges or decharges other ways, that would be the distinction between those polarities. But if you get past that bullshit for even just a second, and I'm not hateful about that, but like, if you get past that for just a second, these are just generally different ways to live life. It's like there is no, for me, I personally like to be a little contrarian. I'm like, oh well, what if it's not actually that we're in a extroverted world with introverted minorities? It's actually like the opposite, or even in between. Because I like to toss the shit something like that too. I'd be like, oh, are celebrities or people who just like air conditioning equals or minorities or majorities? And I do that shit all the time. I don't false or whatever. But this video is gonna be like a quick shit in the shot, or shot in the shit, if you will. No thumbnail, no editing, just throwing this out there. Not even making a long ass tall again for now. But the last video, you remember that one? I hope that gets monetized, by the way. Even if it's not even 8 or 10 minutes. Uh, I won't literally get to 5 or 10 in a row on this video item. I mean, but this is basically about ways that theoretically people like me, an extrovert, could defeat an introvert. Maybe five. We won't be strict about this right now. So you have the time clock for this one as well as this. Introverts and extroverts, if I had to oversimplify it myself, they do have their own pros and cons. But the thing you have to really think about this is like, would you want to only class yourself as an ambivert or an omnivert? This is new age terminology I like that a lot for some reason. Would you only have to go with that if you didn't know how you actually socialize? Because that was a big part of my issue with it. It's like, I never want to be classified as being shy or anxious if I never actually avoid people before, even if I literally never talked to them before. See the paradox? But yeah, honestly, people like me, like so-called extroverts who actually are extroverts, do not have to get along with the status quo in terms of how we do socialize. So in other words, if I needed to defeat an introvert who is just like me, then it's like, okay, what would I think about doing? One way I can do this, and I'm flying a little bit of a script because I don't want to be over. I don't want to actually like be forward about not having a script just because I'm learning to do different things all the time. But I will be a little bit guided with this somewhat, not forcing it, hopefully, but that's forcing it, whatever. Uh, the very interesting thing about introverts particularly is that they are always prepared to understand that they will never lose hope. Just because they do not hold back too much from their ideas, they can still lose hope, but they know there's always opportunities. The problem with the extrovert is that they're always going to like exhaust their options, thinking that they're going to run out of time, and then they panic anyways because they have nothing else to work with when they've already been actively using opportunities. On one hand, society and mainstream norms will always tell you, act now before it's too late, and it's like, and then they cock block that and go 180, and they're like, but invest for the future, or so you can be happy over until then. It's like, what do we do? What the fuck do we do? And they even tell you things like, do what makes you happy unless it hurts other people, and that's so fucking not diplomatic. It's just demo hell. It's like Cali State lit bullshit. It's like, why are you resending this dumbass message to people that they won't believe in a world where their options are less than finite than they already would make it? Not even those like social norms. Like, why are you telling them they can only be themselves if it's acceptable, and if it's not acceptable, they shouldn't care anyway? It's like these freaking these values and virtues and vices, they all parallel each other. Like the freaking principles of this shit. It's like these values. Oh, don't care what people think of you, but also treat them like you treat yourself. What if I want them to treat my shit like dead ass? Not even being sarcastic. Why would I want them to treat me right if the reason I'm treating them wrong is because they don't treat me right? Also, even deeper than that, if I don't see the world the same way you do, then what makes you think I'm gonna value how you see me by how you treat me if I want you to treat me like that in a good way? Like, for example, like if someone, I'm not going to attention by I'm good. If someone treats me in a way I do prefer, and they're like, oh, that's actually a bad thing to do, then you better not tell me that I treat you in the same way, because that's not how I see the world. It's like, damn, dude. and this segue, I'll get to this. The way the introvert internalizes is like, well, I didn't treat you wrong because I wasn't even there. And the extrovert will be like, oh, of course you weren't there. You're fucking avoiding me, pussy. Like, yeah, the passive side is on the active, whatever the fuck. Oh no, the burden of proof. Okay, the burden of proof is on the active, not the passive. Okay, but like Anarchist terminology, by the way. You know Rothbard, but Lysander Spooner, all the other ones. Uh, but for an extrovert to defeat an introvert, it's not as simple as socialize more, gather an army of mercenaries, kill the crap out of that fucking Voldemort guy. No, they are actually, like, extroverts are unique people. Like myself, for example. Like, if you choose to play an all-star role in either as an introvert and extrovert, or not an all-star introvert. I'm treating like it's a freaking genotype from fucking like multiplication table bullshit, whatever. Uh, but an extrovert has given themselves a distinct chance to shoot their shot while they know they can still fail. Their flanks are never fully covered, but they already know that. Like, the extrovert is smart to understand that. The introvert could still be a pussy, but at least when they avoid certain other conflicts, they could get involved in other ones that seem extroverted for that introvert. Not because they're not that social in that regard, but because they're gonna already be there, dealing with those things, focused on them, literally, as if they are extroverts. But the extrovert will never know what their options are because they're already exhausting every single one. And if the extrovert is that hardcore to begin with, they don't realize what the options were to begin with. It's like the extrovert is so overstimulated they don't even know like how to actually tell themselves that they were doing something. That's why extroverts like me get in trouble all the damn time. Like, we think we're doing nothing, but we're actually doing everything wrong. It's like social immersion and astral projection at the same time. But the extrovert just thinks it's social immersion, if even that, because they don't want to deny that they're not introverts, but they still care about being an extrovert. So, and then there's like the lean ideology I mentioned with objective subjective like years ago before the Christian Slide on my other alt channel, if it's there or here. It's before actually, little alts. The only way that an introvert could hold back that much from an extrovert just because they have boundaries that they need to have, which is an unfortunate philosophy in itself. But the meow culture has always been unreal for years on end, even without social media. But the introvert who actually understands how their energy works, their energy behavior, not just in the spiritual sense or psychological, if they are avoiding the extrovert because they have to protect their energy, the extrovert, like 4 times out of 10, nobody understands that. But the problem with this is that the introvert will go into this thinking that they are in decision, like there are some free will believing introverts who actually think they're doing it on purpose. No, you're not. There are things that you came to this life with that you did not fucking control. Would it take a determinist extrovert like me to tell you that? No, it wouldn't. Am I being social against my will? I used to say I was creative against my will. I still believe that. I still believe I'm not autistic. But the introvert who believes in free will, who actively thinks they are artificially, manually in control of their own solitude, is shooting themselves in the foot for a long ass time. Because you have to actually understand there are people who actually do get alone without choice, even if you're avoiding them. And then it's like, okay, but then why does the extrovert get to be a determinist? Because sometimes they're not choosing to be around other people, dumbass. You know, even they have measures that aren't, I'll say, hardcore or softcore. But that's why with the cliche for determinist introverts and free will extroverts, it's not that I'm playing the phenotype bullshit with all this photon, neutron, electron shit. Okay, I'm not trying to be too scientific or verbose. These kind of thinkers who have never tried to be themselves because they didn't think that was the truth yet, but they still cared about doing the right thing without doing what they wanted. These people who hate doing what they want, these people who are strictly professional to a fake OCD measure, and these people who would rather socialize with the entire world and say that every single person is their best friend, deep, meaningful relationships with infinite numbers of people, are they introverts? They're trying to oversimplify that they're not. If that was denial, they would never have tried that in the first place. But the dark truth of this is that even the hardcore extrovert can still learn from solitude and immersion in their own inner world. They're not locked behind their seeking of expressive freedom. But even free will is flawed because it comes with determinism.